Hey folks, Josh Hager here with Bearded Bee Works. Today we are going to get in these boxes and equalize some brood, and we're going to rotate boxes, so to speak. We're going to shuffle some frames around and get all the brood in the bottom, most of the honey up top, leave a little bit of honey and some pollen downstairs, and we're just going to give that queen some more room to lay brood. So let's get started. So I went through yesterday, and I like to go through and grade out all my bees and see how many frames of brood I've got, and how many frames of bees, and so I know, how I want to equalize. Now this is how I do it. It may not be the best way, but this is how I do it. So I kind of look at, I've got colonies with anywhere from 7 to, like this colony right here has 7 frames of brood. So anywhere from 7 frames of brood all the way down to 1 frame. So I've got some little resource hives, and it's up to you how you want to equalize depending on what your goal is. If you're trying to maximize honey production, you want to keep a minimum number of brood and bees, per box, to ensure that you have the population you need to produce a good honey crop. If you're trying to build your bees up, it's not as important. You can equalize all the way across your yard. You can take the number of brood frames you have and divide it out by number of boxes, and you can equalize all your brood if you'd like to. Now just keep in mind that we don't want to boost any queens that are not worthy of that. So if we have a queen that is just not producing for us, feel like that she's not laying the eggs that she could with the resources she has, because that's basically what it's dependent on. You can have the best queen in the world, and if she doesn't have the resources, the bees to help her rear that brood, she's not going to lay very much. She's only going to lay to what her resources allow. We don't want to boost any queens that are not worthy of it. So if you have a situation like that where the queen is not doing what you think it's supposed, or needs what she needs to be doing, it's best just to go ahead and smash her, combine those bees up with something else. You can come back later in the year and make a split to make up for that colony that you lost through a combination. So for me, I'm kind of somewhere in between. I have all the bees that I want. I'm not looking to build anymore. My bees come out of winter a little weaker than I would have liked them to. So some of these smaller, I'm going to combine a few colonies up. I've got some stuff with 1 to 2 frames of brood. And then I've got, like I said, I've got some stuff in between there and 7 frames of brood. Most of them having, around 4 frames of brood or so. So I'm going to get in this hive right here. Like I said, I'm going to resituate the brood nest. I'm going to get all the brood in the bottom. Leave them a frame of honey on each side. And then I'm going to move most of the honey up and leave a little room for her to lay in the top box as well. And then if I've got more food than I need, if she's just plugged up, then I've got some drawn comb that I can substitute in there and pull some honey frames and put drawn comb back in. So let's hop in here. These bees are a little feisty today for some reason. I just did a video for our 500 subscriber giveaway, and I had one bee chase me all over the yard and couldn't even finish without a veil on. They were trying to light me up, so they're a little feisty. We'll see how this goes. So this process is a little bit slow because you have to go through so many frames. So we're just going through here looking at what we have. This is food on one side, open comb on the other. We're mainly looking for brood. There is some pollen. So usually when you find pollen, you're getting close to the brood. So there's the first brood frame right there. We're going to be looking for our queen as we go, so because we're going to have stuff setting everywhere while we do this, and I don't want to lose her. So we're just going to kind of separate things out here. I know you can't see it back here, but I've got kind of got brood sitting on this side, and I've got food sitting on this side. This is my first year to do double deeps. I'd been single brood management up till now, so the rotation and reorganize the brood nest, especially the rotation, is somewhat new to me. Alright, so I'm just going to leave my food up here. Looks like I got 3 frames of brood upstairs. That's got some honey and some on one side, open comb on, or empty comb on the other. There's a drawn comb that's empty. I'm going to put it in the center so the queen can also move up if she wants to. More resources. A few eggs in the bottom of that comb. I'll leave that one upstairs. Get our food back in here. Okay, so we got all of our brood out of the top box. Get down to the bottom box and see what we got here. So just a little bit of food. I'm gonna leave that downstairs. Mostly open comb. Same thing there. A little bit of food, mostly open comb. I'm gonna keep in mind where these are at because they're gonna be shuffled around as well. I want to leave a frame of honey. So there's our pollen again, which means we're probably getting close to our brood nest. Yeah, I see brood there. So we're still having a few cool nights. So I'm not going to split this brood nest up. Once temperatures are staying fairly warm at night, then I would go in here and drop some empty comb in between these brood frames that she's got laid to encourage her to lay them up. But right now I'm just going to put them on the outside and let her expand outward. The other thing we're going to do, we're going to take 2, I got 7 in here, 7 frames brood. I'm going to take 2 frames out to give to somebody else. So this will be a good one for that. I'm going to take, you want to give mostly cap brood because it's easier for the colony to take care of that you're giving it to, and more than likely they're going to be a little bit weaker since you are giving them brood. Let me see if this one's a little, alright, this one, yeah, they both have some open brood, but this one is pretty good. I'm going to shake these bees, so I want to make sure my queen is not on here. I'm not seeing her, so give them a little pop. There's one frame we can give away. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, there's our queen right there. There she is right there. So that one's got a lot of open brood and our queen on it, so we don't want that one. So we're going to take this first one I looked at over here. And shake the bees off this one. You want to give them just a little pop, but don't shake them too hard. Like I said, I'm starting to smell bananas. I'm getting the bees a little fired up right now. That's all right. All right. So let's see what else we got down here. Got brood. I'll pull this one right here. Like I said, I want to leave them some food downstairs. So we'll leave them. This one's got some pollen and some honey right there. Keep that close down here where the brood's at. And then we're going to put our brood back in. So now she's got open comb on both sides of her. She's got open combs on both sides. All the brood in the bottom box. A little bit of food downstairs, most of the food upstairs. So that's kind of what I like to do. You can get a little more scientific with this, but I typically don't. Some red pollen, maybe some henbit or dead nettle. All right, let's get our top box back on. Let's just rotate that back the way it was. I've heard Bob Benny talk about a few times his best colonies are in his worst equipment, and that's how this is. This is one of my best colonies, and this is my oldest box, the box that I started with back when I first got bees, and it was used when I got it. So it's one of my stronger colonies. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to move the food to the outside. Leave some open comb in the middle. There's more food. Open comb on one side. So we'll face that open comb in, food out. And we got some pollen and some open comb. We're going to put that in the middle over the brood nest, so if they need it, they can get to it. And then we got some drawn comb, but that's empty, dry comb, that we're going to put up here, so if she fills the bottom and is ready to move to the top, she can start working on this top box. And then I need to come up with 2 combs for the 2 I pulled out. And drop 2 more combs in here. I'm actually going to shuffle these around. I want some food on this outside over here too. So let me steal this food frame. Shuffle it over here. Oh. And then I'll put that empty comb in here for her to use. So they got roughly 4 frames of food, which is good. They got plenty of pollen. I just got done feeding a round of pollen sub. And so we've got our 2 extra comb out. We've got our brood nest resituated. So we pulled 2 out. They'll quickly make those 2 up. It's a nice healthy box of bees, so they'll catch up pretty quick. She's got plenty of room to lay and the resources to make up those 2 brood frames we stole. Alright, so now we're going to boost a colony. Alright, so now we're going to boost this colony. I went through it yesterday and it had 2 frames of brood. I had went through some of these bees that went into winter a little bit weak due to some circumstances. I had some queen issues on a few where I'd requeen and they didn't take. And it took me a little bit to get things queen right. And so they went in, you know, just under a box of bees, you know, 7 frames or so. And this is coming out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming out about 5 boxes, so we lost a couple frames, or sorry, 5 frames of bees. So we lost a couple frames, and they're just lagging behind. The queen's got a good pattern, no sign of disease or any issues. They just didn't have a real fair shake last fall. So you can see that, you know, no issue with the queen. She's laying well. Just a smaller hive that needs a little boost. So I'm gonna put this cap brood towards the center of the brood nest because it'll be hatching out soon, and that will give her some more room to lay as well. I'm gonna double check my frames here. Probably need to reshuffle some stuff. So some of these singles don't have a lot of food in them, which can be a good thing in some ways because the queen's got plenty of lay. She's not plugged up, but you just have to keep an eye on them. I've got solid sugar on them right now, and I'm going to be swapping to. I'm going to pull that solid off here anytime and swap over to liquid, start feeding some 1-to-1 just to give these bees another boost, increase that brood production. So I got a frame of food here. I'm going to scoot to the outside. You just want to make sure there's not a barrier of pollen or honey that's going to keep them from moving over. So there's some pollen with a little bit of honey. I'm going to scoot it over. You don't want to get this stuff too far away from the brood nest because if we would have another cold snap, they are, you know, they won't be able to cluster. The cluster won't be close enough to the food to use it, and they could die even though there's plenty of food in the hive. All right, so that's taken care of. Here's my sugar patty with a pollen patty on there. So put that back on, and that box is good to go. One thing I didn't note before is I modify the number of brood frames once I change it. That way I know that I've boosted them, and I can see if, you know, if that's working, or maybe there is an underlying queen problem that I didn't see. So that colony now has 3 frames of brood. A little smaller than what I'd like still yet. Probably won't make any honey this year. If it does, not much. But it'll help them get up off the ground pretty quick. So we've got another one down here. We're going to do the same thing on. So this feeder shim does not have the 1/2-inch hardware cloth in it, and it's a pain in the butt. You got to move this sugar around when you get in here. Like I said, it won't be on here much longer. I just got to get to a place where I can have time to pull this and put some sugar on. Or put some liquid on. They would definitely build better on thin syrup than they will this sugar brick. So I'll pull this sugar brick off of everything, melt it down, and make it into 1-to-1 or somewhere around 1-to-1 syrup. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 frames of brood. I didn't see any queen issues on this one. If I do see queen issues, I'll mark them. I found one queenless this year, and I found one a drone laying queen that I'll show you at some point as well. The other thing is the brood will get shifted to one side or the other. It's a good time just to center everything up. Got a little bit of food. Same thing here, a little food. There's a dry comb. Mostly dry with a little food around the top. There's a wonky comb right there they haven't drawn out all the way, and they may not draw it out. We'll see this year. If they don't draw it out this spring, we will rotate that out and scrape it down, re-wax it, and use it again. That's what I like about the plastic foundation. There, bees are building comb. You can see all this extra comb up top. That's one thing you get with those feeder shims. So there's our brood, first brood frame. Got a little bit of burr comb here. Probably just going to build it back, but I can't help myself but taking it off there. There's a queen cup. No egg or anything. A little damaged spot there. It's got a burr comb and some drone brood in the middle of it. Alright, so we're going to drop our extra brood frame in here. We're just going to reorganize this box to make sure she has maximum room. Yeah, seeing quite a bit of purple pollen. Another brood frame. So that gives her 4 frames of brood. There's our pollen and a little bit of honey. I'm going to turn that to the outside because it's empty comb on the other side. That'll give her a place to lay there. And I think she's in pretty good shape. Now, let me check these again. See how much food. Yeah, she's got room to lay there. To center that brood nest, I'm going to take the combs I pulled from the other side, which have a little bit of honey, but mostly empty comb. And I'm going to drop it over on this side. So it's got her in the center, and it's got plenty of room for her to lay, and she should be good to go now. Got a few bees on here. I'm going to shake off. Not likely to have a queen here because it's food, but what little bit of food we got. But I'm going to shake that off. That was our wonky comb anyway, so that's a good one to get out of there. All right. Put everything back together, and these bees will be good to go. So like I said, I got a little bit of equalizing to do, like this. I'm going to combine a few hives, a couple hives that are smaller, and then I'm going to leave some just the way they are. They've got a frame or two of brood, but they're going to act as a resource hive. If I need a queen, they'll be available. If I come up with extra brood that I need to get rid of, I can always drop it in. And I don't want to cut my production hives down so hard that I'm not going to produce any honey trying to equalize. So we'll keep an eye on those bees, and if they, if they keep putting along and they don't start to build up, we may boost them then. But for right now, we're just going to leave a few small and use them as resource hives, in case we need to requeen something or something like that. Because I don't think that I've got queen issues with most of those. I just think they didn't get a fair shake last year. So that's how I equalize bees and rearrange the brood nest. Like I said, I go in beforehand and I evaluate my colonies. I write the number of brood frames on each box. That way I know what I'm dealing with. If most of my colonies have, between 4 and 7 frames, I'll know that, I average those out around 5 or 6 or so, and I'll be good. If my colonies have, 3 to 5 frames of brood, I'll know that they'll need 4. I'll average things out to 4. But I just try to equalize, and it's a little bit slower to do it that way, to go through those bees or beforehand, and then come back and equalize then. But that works best for me. So I appreciate you watching our videos. I appreciate all your help getting to 500 subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.